The Brexit story is still one big story. As you may have heard, the UK Finance Minister, Hammond, says he's going to leave office, he's going to resign if Boris Johnson becomes the next Prime Minister or the occupant of number 10 Downing Street. This is as hot as British politics will get, with British Brexit making the headlines. So let's cross over to our London studios, where Juliana Olayinka is standing by to flesh this up for us from the home front in London. Thank you so much, Juliana. Good morning. Welcome to the program. Hope you had a very great weekend.
Good morning, Boris. Nice to see you. I had a lovely weekend, thank you.
Thank you very much. But of course, with your TV set tuned on perpetually for home and abroad news, I'm sure you didn't miss the finance minister saying he's going to resign. Hammond says he's going to resign if Boris Johnson, the front runner for the Conservative Party, wins to become the next MP or the next PM. I beg your pardon.
I certainly didn't miss it, Bosun, and even if you wanted to miss it, it was all across the TV station, and it's one of the main headline stories in British newspapers today. One thing I will say is that this is a week where everything changes or nothing changes at all in Britain, and two changes that we can definitely expect is that we will be having a new Prime Minister within the next 24 hours or so, and yes, Philip Hammond, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, or the Finance Minister, it's known across the world, will resign. He said he will resign purely because, you know, that do-or-die Brexit that Boris Johnson is saying is a prerequisite to be in his cabinet. He isn't buying into that. He's not the only person who said that. Also, the Justice Minister, David Gauke, he spoke just after Hammond spoke to Andrew Marr on the BBC on Sunday, saying that he will resign as well. There are a team of ministers, they're called rebel MPs, who are going to try and stop Boris Johnson come what may, so that Britain don't leave leave the EU on the 31st of October without a deal. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister, he's been speaking over the weekend as well. He said that Boris Johnson should be going into a second referendum, that's the only way we can try and survive this leave, purely because we've seen that the EU is saying they will not be renegotiating with Boris Johnson. They will only be sticking with the deal that Theresa May has put forward to them. And of course, we've seen that has been deeply unpopular.
Juliana, Boris Johnson is the front runner. So why is there so much angst against him if he's going to succeed? Is it because you have other contenders for the position, or because Brexit has become so disorderly and discontenting to all parties that it looks like there is no way out, and anyone who wants to occupy number 10 Downing Street becomes a target of very vicious political angst?
I must say, Boris Johnson is deeply unpopular. He's almost like Marmite. I don't know if you've tasted that before, Bosun, but you either like it or you don't like it. There's kind of no in-between with Boris Johnson. But of course, Brexit has put the UK in some sort of political paralysis at the moment. And the October the 31st deadline of leaving the EU with or without a deal is what's really riling people up, because the economy has suffered so much. We heard on Friday that borrowing in the public sector has reached its trillions. The PMI data over the past few months in manufacturing, in construction, in services has completely failed. The Bank of England, Mark Carney, has warned severely and severally over the past couple of months that it's not the safest way to go. And we've seen with all of the figures that really isn't the way and the way out. But, of course, Boris Johnson, doing what his predecessor did, David Cameron, is really feeling the pressure from the far-right supporters. And these are people like the Brexit Party and Nigel Farage's UKIP contenders who want Brexit or nothing. And because of the fear of them, that's what they're going for. And, of course, if we do go for that no-deal Brexit, nobody knows exactly what can happen, because in history has shown us that nobody has ever left a trade deal within 24 hours without no deal. So that's what people are worrying about. I don't think it's necessarily his personality. It's his choice to go for a do-or-die Brexit that's really setting the fear in people.
Neck deep in UK politics. Thank you. But let's talk about the markets a bit, Juliana. So give us a bit of a sneak preview into this week's UK market week on the equity and currency side.
Well, it's a fairly flat start on the FTSE this morning. They're up just a couple of points. Again, I don't want to talk about it. We've just been speaking about it. But in the UK, all the markets are going to be watching Boris Johnson to see how they are. The sterling at the moment is just under $1.25. Again, lots of people are watching to see whether or not Boris Johnson will change whatever he's got to say on the Brexit no deal backing. I must say that we're expecting public reports from ITV, Vodafone and GlaxoSmithKline. This morning, Centrica, the oil and gas share, their shares are down 1.5% as they look like they're going to be cutting their dividend once again. And there are several other updates, and I'll keep Timmy updated in the afternoon, Bosun.
I'm going to be taking in a listening shot at 12:30. Thank you so much, Juliana Layinka. It's good to have you to start this current business, political, and markets week from our studios in London. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow at this time.
Thank you, Bosun.
Great one. Okay, let's take a break, everyone. When we come back, quite a lot of stories in our news box from the marketplace. Unilever, Nigeria PLC, announcing a bit of restructuring of industrial assets and a few other things. That was part of what we'll talk about in part 3 of the show. But first, we'll touch base with the debt market, and we'll see what the central bank MPC decisions will likely have on our fixed income space.